Karen Bonifilio, Inner Realms, Outer Journeys. Oh my gosh, we have a treat for you today. I know I say that all the time, but it's true. Oh gosh, I hope I say your name correctly. Michael Mayo.
That's correct.
Yay, me. Okay, I have wanted to interview this man and I'm glad he is on the channel. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Michael is an internationally respected medium, author, astrologer, healer, and spiritual teacher. We got to talk about you being an author. I didn't know you were an author.
Yeah.
He brings a practical and grounded and evidential style to his spiritual work. With his passion for teaching and helping others discover their own unique spiritual connection, he has taught and worked globally. How cool is that? He's a founder of the Oakbridge Institute, an online school that strives to raise the standard of mediumship and psychic abilities. He's the author of Spirit Speak, a step-by-step guide to genuine spiritual communication. Throughout his nearly 20 years of working with the spirit world, he has demonstrated his ability to connect with departed loved ones in both public demonstration and private settings. By bringing messages of love and hope from the spirit world, his mission is to show that we, like love, are eternal. I so agree with that. So, and you know what, Michael, I forgot to mention to you, I interviewed one of your students too,
Okay. Which one?
Aiden Brock.
Oh, yeah. I've worked with Aiden. Yeah.
Yeah, he had wonderful things to say about you. In
Oh, that's
fact,
sweet.
he's up on YouTube. He went up on YouTube today. So,
Oh, awesome. I love
yeah.
that. Yeah. And also, I think earlier you mentioned Jennifer Rose. Is that right?
Jennifer Rose. I
Also,
imagine we have a lot of mutual friends.
yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I bet we
for
do.
sure. Yeah.
Well, tell us about how your journey started.
Yeah. So when I was 18 years old, I stumbled into a mediumship demonstration. I had gone to this metaphysical bookstore, met the owner for the first time, and they said, "Hey, you should check out this demonstration." So I said, "Okay." And I didn't know what a mediumship demonstration was. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's when there's a medium at the front of a group. So in this group, it was about 60 people. And then the medium gives messages to people in the audience. And I didn't think he was going to come to me. I didn't think he was going to, do anything with me. But then he did. And he said, are you where your grandfather's in the spirit? I said, no. He's like, are you where your great grandfather is? He's like, yes. I'm all, but I didn't know him. And then he kind of thought to himself, and he's like, he's here for something. And he said, are you where you're very psychic? And I said, yes, only because I had dreams that had come true and things like that. But I didn't actually really know what he meant. And then he said, you are a medium. You need to start developing. And one day you'll be doing what I'm doing. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about? I had no previous experiences that led me to believe that I had any sort of mediumistic awareness or ability. So that was really, I mean, other than, dreams coming true, but I thought that just happened to everybody. And so then I went to my very first class and, I started, it was my turn to get up to give a message. And when I did, I just became aware of a man there. He told me his name was Jorge. He had died in March. He was died in a motorcycle accident. He was best friends to the lady that I was reading. And it just went on and on and on and on and on and on. It was the literal perfect reading you could ask for.
Seriously,
specific, detailed dates, specifics. And I was like, okay, I guess that guy was right. So then I went back to the next week because I was like, okay, well, I want to see how this works. Went back the next week, I got nothing. I went back the next week, I got nothing. I went back the next week, I got nothing. And I realized, okay, there's something to this. Obviously, I was able to do this once. I need to figure out how I can do that. And that journey of discovery has been going on for almost 20 years now.
Well, I'm surprised that after nothing, that you stuck with this.
Yeah, well, it worked once. And being the curious person that I am and the investigating type of personality that I am, I'm like, well, if it worked once, it should be able to work again. I just have to figure out how. And so that's what I did. I focused and I just tried and ran into so many dead ends and walls and all kinds of things. And thankfully I did that because I think that's what made me a really good teacher now, because I've seen all of sort of the issues and shortcomings and, things that people claim
Right.
work that really don't. And then finally, found the groove of what actually created consistent, accurate, and specific information. Um,
So did you take some classes to figure that out, or did you meet with someone one-on-one?
Yeah, so to figure that out, that was many years of running into brick walls. So I tried
Oh my
all kinds
gosh.
of things for years to see what would get that to be accurate. And it probably wasn't until probably like 6-ish, 7-ish years into my journey that I found Eileen Davies. And Eileen Davies, who is one of my teachers, she was the one that actually took everything that I had and she went, "Oh, just do it, click, 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 click," and just like adjusted the way I was working. And then suddenly everything was like specific, consistent, accurate.
So I'm curious, what did she tweak within you? I haven't heard that in before. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, what she tweaked was help me understand that the underlying principle of mediumship is all about doing less, surrender, not trying.
Oh,
So once she helped me recognize that it was about the less of me, the more of them, I was able to take that on
connect.
board and go. Because what I realized, because obviously I was making links prior to that, I was still able to do it. It was just harder. It was more inconsistent. I felt like I had to work for it. But it was once I had that teaching and understanding that I was able to surrender. And then surrendering was the job of the medium now, not getting information. So when you surrender and you allow yourself to do less, the spirit is then able to take over and step into this and give the information. So I really see it not as the job of the medium is to get information, the job of the medium is to surrender, and mediumship will be the byproduct of that process.
That is really wise. So, so how did you surrender? Did you just
Yeah.
trust? I mean, how does one just surrender for the people
Well,
that are trying to develop these skills?
yeah, absolutely. So, a couple things I would say. The first thing I would say is you have to let go of trying to make something happen. So, a lot of people who are developing their mediumship feel like they have to make something occur, make something happen. And so they feel like it's their job to go get information. It's
Oh,
actually the opposite. You do
oh,
less. The more you let go and you don't try for something, the easier it is for the spirit to come and come to you. So when you're trying to go get something, you're becoming active. When you are letting go and becoming indifferent about the outcome, then you're becoming receptive. So that's a big component is learning how to become receptive. Notice what it feels like when you fully let go, when you fully surrender. You can't just like think, I'm letting go, I'm letting go, I'm letting go. And then inside you're like hanging
I'm not.
on.
I'm not.
Exactly. You have to practice that and cultivate that feeling of I'm doing nothing. And one of the things that really helps with that, because mediumship is a lot of how you approach it really plays a big role. If
Hmm.
you approach it from the mindset of there's nothing I need to achieve, there's nothing I need to accomplish, there's nothing I need to like, there's no outcome that I have to focus on, then it works better.
Hmm.
If you try to make something happen, it won't. So, with regards to surrender, one of the best things that I always tell people is um, learn to be okay with getting nothing. The more you learn and accept being, not getting anything when you go to get do connect to the spirit, what
Uh-huh.
ends up happening is that now your brain isn't going to try to fill it in. So when you can let yourself go and you're not trying to get information and you don't care if nothing comes, now you're actually in a receptive state. But it's the tension that comes from trying to achieve a goal or trying to get something that creates this tightness or this activeness. Because unfortunately,
Hmm.
um, maybe fortunately, actually, um, developing your mediumship is going to reveal to you all the ways in which we try to avoid vulnerability. What I mean by that is when you start to develop your mediumship, if you're a perfectionist because you can't be vulnerable, so you try to be a perfectionist. If you beat yourself up, if you try harder, if you give up when things get, vulnerable and that sort of things. All of these sort of qualities will come out. So if I'm a medium and I'm trying to connect to the spirit and I'm opening my energy, and let's say I start to get something, I start feeling a presence, I start describing a few pieces, and then my sitter says no, now
Ooh.
tightness is coming into my energy.
Yeah.
And now I'm being a perfectionist. And then maybe I start to react by trying to get more or working harder, which is most people do that. When something stops working properly, their reaction is do more, because everything in our life has taught us, if you want to
Right.
make it happen, do more. And this is why actually a student of mine got me a shirt that says do less, because that is my thing that I always tell my students. If you want more information, you do less. You soften, you let go, you become indifferent about the outcome. And that's how you'll get more information.
I gotta tell you, I have never heard it that way, and that is incredible.
Thanks.
Seriously, I think you're going to help a lot of people that are trying to develop their skills.
Yeah,
That's really
absolutely.
good.
Thank you. Yeah, I
I
get a
mean,
lot of feedback from
yeah.
a lot of students that say, or people who have read my book. They're like, you transformed my mediumship, because I was always taught, make it happen, go get it, try, go look for these specifics, go get these kinds of information. And I absolutely am against that. I think it's the exact opposite. Let the spirit lead you. Let the spirit guide and inspire, because they're the ones with the intelligence. They're the ones that know what is needed for the sitter. And the sitter, I mean, if I'm sitting here trying to, let's say I was reading you, if I was trying to get the information,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that awareness. I'm not the one that has all the information about the history of your
Right.
loved one. Your loved
Yeah.
one does. So
Mhm.
let me get out of the way so that your loved one can move and inspire me.
I'm thinking, why didn't I meet you about 20 years ago? I'm serious. You right now, I don't know if you know Nico the medium. He goes into
Heard of
trance.
Nico. I've heard of
Oh,
Nico.
okay. Well, I want to go into trance mediumship.
Mhm.
And where am I going with this? Um, I have spent so much time trying to do all this. You are incredible, Michael, and I mean that in all sincerity.
Thank you.
Seriously,
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, right. So you're going to help me, and I know
I'll
you'll
happily
help
help
others.
you. I mean, this is my whole thing, and like I said, I spent the first 6 years ish running into
Mm.
walls, trying all these different things, and most of what people teach out there is actually the antithesis to the goal that they're trying to achieve,
Oh my
and that is
God.
why I think people struggle for so long. Is that they're
Mhm.
being? It's just what happens is this. This is like the simple way of saying this. Basically, someone goes and learns some mediumship from a teacher. They see on TV that the quality of the mediumship is like, a name, giving little tiny little pieces of information, letting
Yeah.
the sitter fill in a lot of information for you, asking a lot of questions, that sort of thing. So they think, oh, I can do that. So then they get to that level, and then they go, oh, I can do it now. And now I'm out there doing the mediumship. And they're like, oh, I should teach other people this. And so then they start teaching other people, who then do all the same cycle again and again and again, because they have no awareness of the standard of mediumship, which can be incredibly high. So that medium I mentioned earlier, Eileen Davies, is one of the greatest mediums we have living right now, period. She is
Wow.
incredible. I mean, she gives full street addresses and specifics and names and dates and all kinds of things regularly.
What is her first name?
Eileen, and her last name is Davies. And she's
Oh,
absolutely incredible. Not only that, she is one of the most inspiring spiritual and lives her talk. She's absolutely incredible.
is
And
she
so, yeah, go ahead.
is she in the UK?
She is. She's in Scotland.
I'm interviewing her in August.
Perfect.
Oh my
Yay.
gosh.
Eileen Davies, she is one of the greatest mediums that we have living right now. And
Crazy.
she's a great example of what the standard should be. This is where we should, go work towards. You don't just start with, I have an A name and your grandfather, and did your grandfather do this? Asking a bunch of questions. It should be, I have your grandfather here. His name is da 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 da. He passed of XYZ. He is a very outgoing, funny, loving person. He died, when he was 73. Like specifics,
Oh
you
my
know?
Michael, you are blowing me away. You are. You really are.
Well, I'm
Okay, so
happy. I'm happy to blow you away. That sounds great.
so that's what you do with your mediumship.
Yeah,
People
I mean, I mean, obviously, with mediumship, there's varying levels, right? We're not robots. You can't stick a quarter in me. I'm not going to just spit out your grandma. That it's not going to be the same every single time.
don't spit on
Um,
my camera.
sometimes it's going to be really, really clear, and other times less so. And that's the nature of
Mhm.
mediumship. It has its variances. I've seen some of the best mediums we have sometimes be incredible, mind blowing. Like, how the hell are you doing that? Two, that was really, really good. Better probably than me on my best day, but not as good as your normal, like your strongest day. So I've seen, this
Yeah.
variance in all mediums. And so it's because you're not a robot. If you were a robot, we could do this every single time. But anyway, mediumship has its
Oh my gosh.
varying levels of quality day to day.
Are you also psychic too?
Yeah, so I did develop my psychic awareness. In fact, actually, I developed a little bit more of that in the beginning, more so.
Mhm.
But what I would say is, I know there's a lot of teachers out there that will say, one should know their psychism before they develop their mediumship. And I'm actually the opposite. I actually think develop your mediumship first, because it's actually a lot easier to transition to psychism
Oh, really?
after that, in my opinion. I mean, it's just what I've
Mhm.
seen from students. Because with mediumship, it's very like, it's either right or it's wrong. You know what I mean? And
True.
psychism can be a little bit more interpretive, a little bit looser in the boundaries, a lot more symbolism or things like that can occur as well.
Mhm.
And I find that if you can train yourself to be very specific within like your mediumistic awareness and the things that are required of you to get there, it's actually a very easy transition to just adjust yourself into getting
Okay.
psychic information, because the difference between mediumship and psychism is the source. So the
This is
source of
true.
the source
Mhm.
of the information in mediumship is a spirit, and the source of information in psychic awareness are people, places, and objects, or as I call nouns. So
Okay.
psychism is if I picked up this pen and psychometrized the pen, that's how I'm getting the information. Or if I'm in a space, I can feel what has happened in the space. Or if I was reading you psychically and telling you about your life, I'd be reading your
Mhm.
energy. So
Mhm.
that's psychism. You're reading the energy of people, places, and things,
Very
versus
cool.
mediumship, which is getting it from a spirit communicator.
Wow. You are blowing me away. So I'm not kidding.
That's so
Uh,
sweet.
so tell us about your book.
Yeah. So actually,
You have it there?
right here, this is my
Spirit
book,
Speaks.
Spirit Speaks.
Yeah,
This is
I'm getting that.
published by Llewellyn. Um, and it is a step-by-step guide to genuine spirit communication. So I wrote this book because I wanted to be able to hand someone something and go, everything you need to know about the basics of mediumship, and not even just the basics, because there's later chapters that go into troubleshooting, which works great for people who are already working in this sort of thing. But I wanted to be able to hand someone and say, here you go, this is what you need to know to be able to do mediumship. And that's what I did. I created a step-by-step guide for developing your mediumship. There's some history in there. There's also really the foundational and fundamental. I demystify mediumship, and I also re-explain some myths about mediumship as well. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of misinformation about these sort of spiritual things. So I'm very proud of this book. People have told me over and over and over and over again how easy it is to read,
Mhm.
how they love how clear it is. I often get told that this is the best book on mediumship that they've read, and I'm just giving you the feedback that I've gotten. And I'm just grateful that it is. And I do feel confident in it. So when I was recording the audiobook, because I haven't put the audiobook out yet, but I kind of got to reread it because I wrote
Oh,
it a
yeah.
couple of years ago. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay, yeah, I feel like this is doing what I need it to do. So I felt pretty good about that.
Is it on all publishing platforms, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles? People can
Yes.
get it wherever.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay. I'm going
Yep.
to be ordering that today. I
Definitely,
seriously.
you should. You'll if you thought what I'm saying right now is going to blow your mind, this book's going to give you all the rest of the information. So,
I hope everybody gets that book
thank you.
because people will hit roadblocks and they'll stop because they think, oh, I can't do this, or this is
Yeah,
too hard and I'm not getting messages.
totally,
And I know
totally.
I've sat with psychics. I've been in this realm since 16 when I had my palm read.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and the lady told me I was going to marry a blonde gentleman. No, and then I must have been older. Must have been 17.
Okay.
And I was engaged to a dark-haired Cuban, and I thought, and then a divorce later, I had that blonde-haired man. So
Amazing. I love that. One divorce later. I love it.
it's crazy. Okay, well, your book speaks volumes. And tell us about your school then, because people can take classes from you.
Absolutely. So, my school is called Oakbridge Institute. And I created this school because I found that a lot of the teaching out there was lacking. There's a lot of lack in the teaching. And then the other problem is that, you'll have these different mediums who teach. And I don't know how many, teachers you've ever learned from, but I've had a bajillion people that I've sort of experienced. And
Yes.
you get a couple of different things. You get some people who just kind of repeat the same thing that they heard. They're not really
Yes.
speaking from their own, sort of experience. You have other types who, and this is probably the worst one, who just have kind of really big egos. And when you're trying to learn from them, they're either like building you up or breaking you down. And
Oh.
I find that if I had had the unfortunate mishap of studying with those people early on, I would have never developed my mediumship. So I'm regularly receiving students who have kind of been honestly abused by their teachers,
Mhm.
um, and rebuilding those people. And they go on to become excellent mediums. So people who feel like, I can't do this because XYZ famous person said I couldn't,
Oh
then
gosh.
I often there picking up those pieces. So there's a lot of egos in mediumship, unfortunately. Um, I don't understand why one would be egotistical about their mediumistic ability, only because if it wasn't for the spirit, you wouldn't be doing this anyway. You wouldn't even be able
Yeah.
to do it. So how the hell is this on you? But there are tons of egos, and people think that they're great because they're used to hearing people say how wonderful and how you helped me and all that stuff. So it creates this sort of superiority, magical, thing that they feel about themselves. I'm just like, you're falling for the trap, my friend. Like,
Mhm.
you're only as good as the last reading that you did. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
did you help that person? Are they better off for meeting you? I
Right.
don't know. I get really, you want to see me on a soapbox, it'll be about other teachers and how they have treated people. So that's why I built the school, to create a safe environment, one that upholds a higher standard of mediumship and psychic awareness, so that we're creating students who are incredible. I think we've probably gone through 4 rounds of people taking all of our courses all the way through. So starting at I can't do this at all, and ending it to in working mediums. And the ones who finish all of our program um, are absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm always so proud of them.
So it's sequential in the classes that you teach.
Yeah, and it ends up being about 2.5, 3 years, depending on the timing of which class you take.
Hmm.
So that's pretty much how long it takes to get through all of it. But it's absolutely a beautiful journey of discovery. And then we always tell our students who complete the whole thing, I'm like, now you're just starting. Now you go out in the world, and now you go and do the work, and that's going to teach you a bunch of things as well. So.
I just really like that you're humble and you cuss. And
I am humble and I do cuss.
I like that. Yeah.
I
Um,
love that.
and then you're not full of yourself. You're
I
not.
try not to be. I actively try not to be. And I want to thank, one of my first teachers, um, Barbara, who was the one that when I started to get a little big for my britches, she'd come in and
Oh.
she'd just smack my legs out from under me. So I had a great teacher at the very beginning who never let my ego get big, even though I was having early success and all of that sort of thing. She never let my ego get big. And I'm really grateful for that,
But
because I would
that's how we
have.
that's how we are in the world.
Mhm.
Because when you do something, you feel, oh, I've accomplished this and I've done something really good. But
Yeah.
you need to get out of that part of your brain
Yeah.
and into the vulnerability, which I
100%.
totally agree with. Yeah.
100%. And I also think, you know, what use are you to the spirit world if you're thinking you're the one doing this, you're the great one, you're all these things? Like, have I done some cool things in my life? Yes. Does that make me
Yeah.
think that I'm like the next Jesus? No. Like,
No.
I'm just, and if you were to even, because I've known a lot of mediums and I've known some of the greatest mediums that we have living today, and I even have known, you know, every other level in between, I would say. Um, and
Mhm.
they're all human beings, right? They all
Mhm.
have their faults. They all have their traumas and
Yes.
pains and issues, and they all poop. I've heard, and so you know, there's no one better than each other. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like it's more about love, connection, and you know, creating community, and that's really also why Oakbridge is there, is to
Mhm.
create community
Wow.
as well.
Wow, Michael, this is really fascinating. Seriously enjoying this.
You're so sweet.
Oh my gosh. How do you take care of yourself spiritually and emotionally? Because it can take a lot out of you when you are channeling spirit too.
Yeah. So how do I answer this question? So two
Honestly.
things. Number one, um, personally, I don't feel like it takes a lot out of me to work for the
Oh.
spirit. And why I say that is because when you learn how to follow the power and you follow the spirit and you allow it to move and inspire you, you're actually just working on letting go. And that doesn't take much from you. It's when you're trying and you're efforting and you're reaching, that will become exhausting.
Mhm.
That's when you start feeling not so great and all that sort of thing. But just as like a role being a medium, I think one of the most important things you have to do uh, is to make sure that you use your spiritual connection for yourself as well. So many people get really excited and they want to be a medium and they want to be out in the world and they want to be helping people. And what you realize, you
Mhm.
know, and that's their focus for many years. And then you realize when you're out in the real world, it's not an easy job because you're dealing with people's
Mhm.
grief and loss,
Yes.
and you're going to deal with skepticism and accusations of fraud and all these sorts of things. And so in that way, it is the work itself is not the difficult part, it's the rest of it. And I think one thing that really helped me not get burnt out, because there's been times, obviously, in all those years that I have
Mhm.
felt burnt out. And I had to learn, okay, what is the thing that I need to make sure that that doesn't happen? And the thing is
Mhm.
mediumship feels so much like something we do for others as a service.
Yes,
And
it
you have
does.
to make sure that you make your mediumship for yourself too. So, what I mean by that is, I
Mhm.
find ways to still continue to discover and explore the boundaries of my own mediumship. So, things like
Hmm.
sitting in a home circle, which is a group that just sits together weekly to just be in the power and sit in the stillness together and allow the spirit to do whatever it is that they need to do in that time. That's very refilling,
Wow.
refreshing, and it also builds your mediumship. Another thing that I love doing is sitting in sort of like seance conditions. So we'll sit for table and that sort of thing. So we get to see phenomena of spirit, which has been pretty amazing. So having seen spirit lights in the room, ectoplasm, things moving very like tables moving up a wall, all kinds of cool things. And so that is also an amazing sort of experience to get to see the power of
Wow.
spirit and what they can really do when given the opportunity. So in another way, that gives to me. And then also, um,
Mhm.
I'm always trying to find truth with a capital T. And so, what is the real nature of reality and consciousness and the depth of what that means for us as people? So, as long as I'm making sure that I'm engaging in that sort of thing that feeds my soul, like some of the examples I just gave, then I'm not going to get burnt out because it's not just something I'm always doing for others. It's now something I also do for myself.
Michael, I know that when I sit in trance mediumship and spirit comes, it just feels such a loving energy.
Yeah.
Does that happen with your type of mediumship also?
Yeah. So I also actually am a trance medium as well.
You are?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
you didn't tell me that. Did
yeah,
you?
I know. It's, I guess for me, I go, I'm a medium. And so therefore that means,
Oh,
trance and, all of those sorts of things. So
holy cow.
yeah, so one of my helpers comes through me and he has, there's always this profound sense of love that comes with it. And actually
Oh,
why trance mediumship is my favorite form of mediumship. Of all the forms of mediumship, trance mediumship is actually my favorite. And the reason is
Michael.
you get to feel the love and the reality and the closeness of the
Hmm.
spirit world in such
Yes.
a personal way and such like a profound way that I absolutely adore. So yeah, that's definitely something I love. And I think the core of all mediumistic work, at
Hmm.
least in my experience, is always coming back to love.
Yes.
Always,
Hmm.
that's the foundation of it all.
Coming back to love and being of service to others.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
important. So important.
Hmm.
Okay, I know we're getting a little short on time. Can you tell us about a memorable experience that has stuck with you that you have done?
Yeah. So one memorable experience that I absolutely love, it's the one where we saw the ectoplasm and the spirit lights, was pretty amazing. So we were sitting in a group. I was teaching a weekly development circle. And
Hmm.
I was with some students chatting after class one day, and I had mentioned table tipping, and they were like, "What's that?" And I just explained, table tipping is where everybody sits around the table. You lightly place your hands on the table, and the spirit will eventually be able to come through and knock and communicate through
Excuse me.
taps on the table, and communicate message, kind of like how a Ouija board is used, like letter by letter, letter by letter. And they were
Mhm.
like, "Oh my God, let's try it." I was like, "Oh, it's probably not going to work. Like, it takes a long time to develop. Like, they're
Mhm.
like, let's just do it." I was like, "Okay, fine," because I'm the biggest skeptic you'll ever meet. And so,
Really?
oh yeah, I'm so skeptical of everything, and I think that's actually been a boon to my development. But anyway, we sit around the table, and we actually did start to get communication, and that started a whole
Ooh.
series of communications. And in that very first session, we asked them, would you be able to do any kind of external physical phenomena like spirit lights? And they said, yes. And we're like, really? And they said, how many sittings? And they tapped out 12. And so we
Wow.
said, okay, 12 sittings. Awesome. Well, anyway, we keep sitting and we forget totally about that communication entirely. And then one day we're sitting there, and we go to start the session and they move the table to let us know they're there. But then that's it. And then we start to feel the atmosphere getting thicker and
Oh, wow.
tenser. And we were like, what the heck is going on? This is so strange. By the way, this is all done in the light. So this is done in green light. So this isn't like a dark, darkened seance conditions or anything like that. It's all done in
Mhm.
the light. And so we're just like kind of feeling the energy and we're just like, what the heck is going on? But we're just like, whatever, let's just keep just sitting and see what happens. All of a sudden, I look over and my friend has what looks like, essentially, if you had like a really hot cup of coffee like at his solar plexus and there was steam that was
Oh my
rising up from
gosh.
his solar plexus. There wasn't a hot cup of coffee, but that's what it looked like. It was as if
Yeah.
steam was coming from his solar plexus. And I looked down and it's happening to me too. Steam was coming out
Oh,
of my solar plexus.
seriously?
So we're all like, what the heck? Like, there's
Heck?
just three of us. And we're all just like, what the hell is happening? And then all of a sudden, over the table, almost like little fireflies coming in and out of
Oh my
focus,
Lord.
were these tiny little pins of light just sparkling up above. And we were just like, but what was interesting was that
Beautiful.
the little pins of light actually had shape to them. And so what we could see was it looked like, if you've ever seen the movie Avatar,
Yep.
it looked like the little seeds that go like
Yeah.
this. They look like almost like little
Oh.
jellyfish, the movement. That's what they would look like. And I was thinking that in my head. I was like, man, these look like those things from Avatar. And my friend to my right goes, hey, you know what those look like? They look like those things from Avatar. And I was like, oh my God, he's seeing what I'm seeing. Like, this isn't in our head. Like, we're
Oh my
seeing these tiny
gosh.
pins of light. And it probably lasted at most 10 seconds. And so
Oh,
we saw these lights and then they just went away. And so then we went back
wow.
and we remembered, oh my God, they said that they could do this in 12 sittings. We counted the sittings back. It was exactly 12 sittings. from when they told us it would be 12
That's
sittings.
cool that you forgot about it too.
Totally forgot
So
about
it
it.
wasn't sitting in the back of
Nope.
your mind. Okay, we're number 10. It's coming.
Exactly. No, because we were so amazed by everything that was happening, we totally forgot they had said that. But it was very evidential to me that we were communicating with intelligence, given that they said 12 sittings, and in exactly 12 sittings, they created this phenomena, which was
Wow.
amazing. So that was a very memorable experience.
Never even heard of anything like that. It sure is. Yeah.
Yeah. Physical mediumship is amazing. So
It's very cool. Is there anything else that I might have missed that you would like to say before we sign off?
yeah, so I would just say if you are interested in developing your mediumship, know that this isn't something that is unique to just gifted or special people. I'm a strong believer that anybody can develop their mediumship. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. There's no reason why you cannot connect to that bigger part of yourself and thereby connect to one another, those who have crossed over. So I like to dispel the myth that it's only for born mediums. It's not true. Anyone has some potential to
Right.
develop their mediumship. And so don't let yourself be discouraged, even if it doesn't start happening right away, or you've never had an experience like me, never had an experience before someone said you're a medium.
Yeah.
Try it, explore it, discover it. And if you are open or interested, you always have a place at Oakbridge.
Yeah. And you didn't give up.
Nope.
Even though you weren't getting messages, you
Yep.
persevered. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a great story in itself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, Michael, a pure pleasure meeting you. It really was. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here. I'm happy to come back anytime, Karen.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
Okay, because I want to have you back to talk about trance.
Perfect. I'd love to.
And some of your courses. So that would be awesome. And anything else you think that the audience might like to hear about that we don't know?
There's a bunch.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, send me a list and we'll figure it out because I have a lot of repeats on my channel and people love when they get more information. So that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so
Take care.
much. And stop.